The Jimmy Olsen Radio Network.
Welcome to the Gospel Road. Hope you're having a good weekend. So it's been busy. Yesterday, I actually have not done a lot with my DJ business, but yesterday morning we had a 5K, 10K run that was playing music for, and then had a wedding last night. So early morning, late night. Normally have the early mornings. I just don't. Just not normally having the late nights. But man, it's just a busy day, and it was a hot one too. But hopefully you had a great weekend. But it's always good when you run into people. I mean, yesterday morning when we had the 5K, I actually ran into a bunch of old coworkers. It was really old home week for one of the radio stations that I used to work with, which was interesting, and it was interesting. And then I even got like an honorable mention on one of their Instagram posts a little later. But it's just always fun to catch up with people and have conversations. And I actually need to reach out to them because they're wanting to do a little walk run club again, which we did one when we worked together years ago with Fleet Feet. Was actually mentoring with that, and they were just kind of being part of it. But that was fun. But just been a long week. Iowa State Fair starts this week, so it's just a crazy week coming up as trying to get everything ready for that, and even been working on that last week and working on trying to get my Twitter unsuspended. Yes, I was suspended from Twitter. I've been a bad boy, and actually it was something I did years ago. It was an app on my phone, and it was a third-party app that you were able to share on Facebook and Twitter, and it was like on this date in history, which it had, songs and things like that. So this song was number one on this date, and so I guess it got flagged, and they removed it, which was fine. I didn't complain against that. And they said, hey, this video has been removed, which whenever that happens, I'm like, fine, that's fine. No, not a big deal. I mean, Facebook's done the same thing of either removing or muting and things like that. And I do not create an issue with that, which is fine. But then all of a sudden they go, you have just, some copyright violation and multiple, and then they just suspended my account. Had a great conversation with them for probably the first day, and then now they've basically gone radio silent and have not given me any answers yet, which is just kind of frustrating. So I am on my social media except for Twitter. So still have Facebook, Instagram, and of course the whole TikTok thing, which I'm still trying to completely get that down, and LinkedIn. But, it's just these little things that are going on, and how strict and stringent they are. And I get some of it, but then some of it I just completely don't understand. Especially with the way the world is going right now, and how we are being treated, how people are treating one another. And to be honest, it's how a lot of the younger generation are treating the older generation. I don't always agree with Bill Maher's politics 100%, but every once in a while he has some really great pieces that he does share. And I had a friend that shared a video with me, and then I saw another one that I had shared back with them, and it was all part of this cancel culture that is happening right now. And I'll be honest, there's days I'm sitting there waiting to get canceled because I don't know. It seems to be happening to everyone. And in fact, one of the latest ones that I heard happened with the Olympics. Well, anyway, just people that are in, higher ranks of organizations, and something that's happened in their past. Not saying I agree or disagree with what it was, but I know one was, in an executive position, and in the past, they were doing a comedy routine. So I don't know the entire story of if they were trying to be a comedian, if they were just doing an open mic night or whatever it was. And this was 30 years ago, and I guess they had shared an off-color joke, which, okay, who has not gone to a comedy club, and that happens all the time, or you fill in the blank comedian here, and you're watching them on Netflix or even TV, and the same thing happens, even HBO, over the years. And especially if you're watching some of the older ones, I mean, there was a lot of off-color things that have happened. So that was discovered, and then he was fired. Then another one, again, someone, a high-ranking official in an organization, was in an interview and then admitted to being a bully. And I'm sure we've all been a bully one way or another in different ways, not really expecting, not really understanding, just because we're younger. I mean, again, when you're younger, you do a lot of really stupid things, and as you get older, then you kind of wise up. But on this one, he admitted to it, and then he apologized. So basically owning up, making that confession. This is what I did. It was bad, and I'm not good with it, and, I'm sorry for what I did. They fired him. And he was actually, he was saying, I'm sorry. I don't know. Something that sticks in my head that Bill Maher had, one of the videos that had shared that I watched, and he was talking about the younger generation, and he goes, we have BC and AD, and now we need a BY, before you. There was a world before you. This is where we're dealing with, they're talking about this whole, it's all about me mentality, being very narcissistic. And then there was another video I saw on TikTok that somebody was sharing that whenever somebody has an issue, they make it everybody's issue. And her example was, I can't have peanut butter. So because I'm not able to have peanut butter, nobody can have peanut butter. So if I'm allergic, everybody's allergic to it. And, I think that's where adult responsibility comes in. You know what you can and cannot have. You know what you can and cannot do. And you should not expect others to change their life because of something you cannot do. You cannot have peanut butter. You cannot have peanuts, okay? Don't have peanut butter and peanuts. Be aware when you go out to eat at a restaurant. But me, I can have peanut butter. I can eat peanuts. You shouldn't tell me that I can't do that. Now, would it be rude for me to have it unless you really don't like it anyway? Because there's some people that I know there's certain things they can't have, and they really don't have a taste for it anyway. So it doesn't bother them if somebody has it in front of them. But if it's something that you're going to say, but I really like them, but I can't have them, okay, then I should be respectful that I just don't do it in front of you. But you don't take it away from everyone. And that seems to be the world that we're in of, I have a problem with this. It is an issue for me personally, so because it's an issue for me, it needs to be an issue for everybody. So the majority needs to follow me because of my problem, which then makes everything very stale, because now you're not allowed to eat anything. You're not allowed to do anything. It sounds like a very pristine culture, doesn't it? In fact, I was seeing another post the other day that they had You Are Here in the middle. And then they were talking about, they had all these other movies like, The Matrix, 1984, books and movies that they had in here. Logan's Run, which was another one. I can't remember. I think Total Recall might have even been in there. But it was just this full thing. It was on Facebook. And I had either seen the movies or familiar with the movies, familiar with the books. So I knew what they were talking about. And they're saying, really, if you look at our world, that's what we're living in. It's all of these pieces coming together at one time, and we're trying to deal with all of that. And it makes it hard to deal with situations on a daily basis. And again, we need to be smart. We need to be aware. We need to be cognizant of what's happening around us in so many ways. But at the same time, we need to be kind. We need to be loving. We need to be compassionate to one another. And being compassionate does not mean I'm going to tell you what to do. Being compassionate means understanding. It means, being able to, maybe you haven't dealt with that situation, but to do your best to have empathy with that, being empathetic for them. Again, you might have something you can compare it to know the feeling, but you're not going to know the exact feeling because that thing has not happened to you. These are just things we need to be aware of, we need to think about, and we need to understand as we are dealing with this world today and moving forward, which in many ways is getting harder and harder every step that we take. John 10 is what we're going to look at today on the Gospel Road. It says, truly, truly, I say unto you, or truly, truly, I say to you, He who does not enter the sheepfold by the door, but climbs it by another way, the man is a thief and a robber. But he who enters by the door is the shepherd of the sheep. To him the gatekeeper opens, the sheep hear his voice, and he calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. When he has brought out all his own, he goes before them, and the sheep follow him, for they know his voice. A stranger they will not follow, but they will flee from him, for they do not know the voice of strangers. This figure of speech Jesus used with them, but they did not understand what he was saying to them. So Jesus again said to them, "Truly, truly, I say to you, I am the door of the sheep. All who come before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep did not listen to them. I am the door. If anyone enters by me, he will be saved and will go in and out and find pasture. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I came that they may have life and have it abundantly. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. He who is a hired hand and not a shepherd, who does not own the sheep, sees the wolf coming and leaves the sheep and flees, and the wolf snatches them and scatters them. He flees because he is a hired hand and cares nothing for the sheep. I am the good shepherd. I know my own, and my own know me. Just as the Father knows me, and I know the Father, and I lay down my life for the sheep. And I have other sheep that are not in this fold. I must bring them also, and they will listen to my voice. So there will be one flock, one shepherd. For this reason the Father loves me, because I lay down my life that I may take it up again. No one takes it from me, but I lay it down on my own accord. I have authority to lay it down, and I have authority to take it up again. This charge I received from my Father." There was again a division among the Jews because of these words. Many of them said, "He is a demon and is insane. Why listen to him?" Others said that there are no words of one who is oppressed by a demon. Can a demon open the eyes of the blind? At that time, the feast of the dedication took place at Jerusalem. It was winter, and Jesus was walking into the temple, and in the colonnade of Solomon. So the Jews gathered around him and said to him, "How long will you keep us in suspense? If you are the Christ, tell us plainly." Jesus answered them, "I told you, and you do not believe. The works that I do in my Father's name bear witness about me, but you do not believe because you are not among my sheep. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. I give them eternal life, and they will never perish, and no one will snatch them out of my hand. My Father, who has given them to me, is greater than all, and no one is able to snatch them out of the Father's hand. I and the Father are one." The Jews picked up stones again to stone him. And Jesus answered, "I have shown you many good works for the Father. For which of them are you going to stone me?" The Jews answered him, "It is not for a good work that we are going to stone you, but for blasphemy, because you, being a man, make yourself God." Jesus answered them, "It is not written in your law, I said you were gods." If he called them gods, to whom the word of God came, and Scripture cannot be broken, do you say of him who the Father consecrated and sent into the world, you are blaspheming? Because I said, I am the Son of God. If I am not doing the works of my Father, then do not believe me. But if I do them, even though you do not believe me, believe the works, that you may know and understand the Father is in me, and I am the Father. Again they sought to arrest him, but he escaped from their hands. He went away again across the Jordan to the place where John had been baptizing at first, and there he remained. And many came to him, and they said, "John did no sign, but everything that John said about this man was true." And many believed in him there. John 10 is what we're looking at today on the Gospel Road. And, Jesus talking about him being the Son of God, and then those saying that he is lying, basically. They're going to stone him, and he's being blasphemous. But how many times do we have simple conversations like that? You know something, but people do not want to believe what you're trying to share with them. You show them that you know something, but they still do not believe because you're not, in their mind, what they expect of a person that would know this. Your looks don't measure up. The way you dress does not measure up. See, they're looking on the outside and judging and not looking on the inside and listening with their ears to understand that you know, you have knowledge, you have taken the time to understand what you're talking about. And we see this in business all the time. You see it personally all the time. We see it in our own kids. Because, we are older and we have experience and we try to share with them because, like I tell a lot of people, I only tell you things of not to do because I've already done it. So I'm trying to say, don't do this because I don't want you to make the same mistake I did. Now, do I not make that same mistake still? Yeah, probably. I still mess up. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes all the time. I get so busy or my head gets so full that I'm not always able to think straight. And then I forget things because I get in a rush. Or somebody around me is in a rush and then you're not able to get everything done because you're trying to do all of everything that's on your plate, and then now they're adding this on, and then things fall through the cracks because you're too busy that you're not able to focus to get things done. They always talk about that laser focus when you're dealing with a company, when you're dealing with marketing, when you're dealing with what, the idea of your company is. But then you end up spreading yourself so thin that you might have the focus, but it's not laser focus. You're not really looking where you need to be. We always hear this all the time. I've been hearing it for years of being brilliant at the basics. And many times you fail at the basics because you're too busy trying to throw everything else in there. And if you can have a strong foundation, everything else will work. It will come together. But you need to have that strong foundation. You need to be brilliant at the basics. He was using the shepherd and the sheep. The sheep know the shepherd's voice. They will follow him. But they're not going to listen to a stranger. And a lot of times you're again having that conversation and they could know you, but they, for whatever reason, do not believe you, do not want to believe you. They already think they know everything. Or they're more apt to listen to others rather than listen to you, and the others might not have a concept of what you're doing. So there needs to be an understanding to the way on how things should be done. And again, being able to have that conversation. A lot of times when you're trying to rebuild yourself, you lost a job, you did something for 20 years, 30 years, and it's all talked about in certain ways. Now you've got to try and take that the technical terms, like being in radio for 30 years. And we have ways that we describe things, but now how is it that what I did, that experience that I have, relates then into other occupations? How does those relate into other businesses that go, oh yeah, I did that. I did that exact same thing, but this is how I did it over here. So the concept is idea. The theory is the exact same. So now it's being able to apply the knowledge you have from column A to now apply it into column B. Again, it's understanding, it's knowing, and then being able to transition to make that move. Is it easy? Absolutely not. It's hard to do because your mind is thinking in so many ways for so long, and now you've got to try and start thinking in a different way. But it takes time. It's a learning curve. You have to relearn things. Somebody getting hurt, getting in an accident, they have to relearn to walk. They've been walking for 40 years and now it was taken away from them. And now they have to relearn it again. Being brilliant at the basics. Having that strong foundation. John 10 is what we looked at today. So read that. How does it help you? What does it say to you? How does it give you something stronger to be better professionally, personally, at work, at home? Again, it's that complete health, mental, physically, and spiritually. That 360 degrees of health. How are you taking care of yourself? Are you trying to take care of yourself in all ways, or you're pretty good at a couple but still failing at another? I know I'm not hitting all of them the way I should. I'm doing my best. But I have my good days, I have my bad days. Because life gets in the way. Do I make it to the gym every day? No, because life ends up getting in the way, and then I let that be more important than my health, than me going to the gym. Work all of a sudden becomes more important than me. Other things become more important than me. We need to understand that balance to keep our sanity. I was chatting with someone the other day that I used to work with, and they had left and found another job, and they didn't realize how much mental anguish they were dealing with until they were gone. And now they can think clearly again. Their mind was so full of garbage because of everything that was happening and all of the garbage that they were dealing with. We have to be smart. We have to be careful. We have to understand. Again, we have to be better today than we were yesterday. Be better tomorrow than we are today. Love one another. Share that love for one another. Not being out to get somebody, but being there to encourage them, to lift them up, to really boost them up and to help them be better. And not beat them down. And just use them as a stepping stone to get what you want. Because that is not nice. It's not Christian. That's not who we should be, but yet we see that all the time. You are bothering me. So because you bothered me, everyone needs to stop. Because only I matter and no one else matters. That's not the way it works. We need to work together. We need to compromise. We need to love one another. We need to love our enemies. Again, they will know we are Christians by our love. Love God. Love yourself. Love your neighbor. As Pastor Bob always says, it's love, love, love. The greatest of these is love. How are you sharing love today? How are you sharing kindness? Are you maybe just opening a door, going into the coffee shop, giving them a smile, saying, have a great day, have a great weekend. When you're, checking out at the store, have a great day, have a great weekend. Thank you for what you do. You're working your weekends. You don't get to have weekends off. Thank you for being here. Thank you for what you do. John 10, that is what we looked at today on the Gospel Road. If you enjoyed this, you can share it with others by, sharing it on social media. Thank you so much by doing that, and also giving me a review to, just let the powers that be know what you think of the podcast. And that kind of helps boost it a little bit. You can find me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitter someday, maybe. John 10. Read that for yourself. How does it help you be that better person? Thank you for listening to The Gospel Road. Have a great day. God bless.
Spinal adjustments provided by Dr. Chad Rolfson. The Spinal Tuning Chiropractic Center is a Des Moines area low flat fee per month unlimited chiropractic care practice. When life happens, just adjust. Schedule today at spinaltuning.com.
Barbecue provided by Kenny's Rib Wagon, catering ribs for your pleasure and serving daily at Plaza Pub, 62nd and Douglas in Des Moines, across from Merle Hay Mall. Find Kenny's Rib Wagon on Facebook.
The Jimmy Olsen Radio Network.